Okay, so get ready for a deep dive that's a little bit different this time.
Mm.
We're going to be exploring the psychology of attraction, but
Oh, yeah.
here's the twist.
Yeah.
Our source material is The Tao of Badass,
Oh, wow.
which is an ebook that might not be what you'd expect when you think about this topic.
It's interesting you say that because it's definitely not your typical self-help book.
Right.
I mean, it actually lays out its advice as a series of flowcharts.
I know.
It's kind of unique.
Who knew flowcharts could be so alluring?
Right.
But this isn't just theory.
Yeah.
It gets surprisingly practical, almost like a playbook.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to be breaking down some key points from these flowcharts,
Okay.
focusing on the attraction stage first.
All right.
And what I found fascinating is how it starts with observation,
Ooh.
like you're a detective of desire.
Interesting.
So the play-by-play attraction guide, flowchart,
Okay.
begins by emphasizing body language.
Hmm.
It literally asks, does she turn to face you with her body?
Wow. So it's very basic.
Basic, but often overlooked.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like that initial spark, right?
Uh-huh.
You can kind of sense if someone's interested by how they're positioned.
Yeah.
But what if she doesn't turn toward you?
Okay.
The flowchart suggests this very intriguing move
Mm-hmm.
of turning your head away for just a second, then back again,
Oh.
and continuing the interaction almost like a playful reset.
Okay. Interesting.
What do you make of that?
I think it's a subtle way of acknowledging the lack of initial engagement,
Right.
but without giving up.
Oh,
And there's a confidence in that, persistence, and confidence can be attractive.
I see.
It's almost like saying, okay, I see you're not immediately hooked,
Right.
but I'm intriguing enough to give a second look.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
With a gentle nudge, a
Yeah.
little bit of mystery.
Little push and pull.
Exactly. So you've piqued your curiosity now.
Okay.
Well, the flowchart gets even bolder
All right.
with a section on playful banter.
Okay.
And these aren't your cheesy pickup lines.
Oh.
This is more about teasing humor, keeping things light.
Yes. And it even gives you specific examples like,
right.
hey, you're cute. You can help me pick up chicks.
Huh?
Or, you're not fooling me. I see those double horns hidden under your halo.
These lines definitely made me chuckle.
Yeah.
They're so over the top, it almost disarms you.
Mm-hmm.
But the flowchart emphasizes that it's not really about the words themselves.
Right.
It's the energy behind them.
Oh.
It even calls it content-free conversation.
That's a really important point. It's about the delivery,
Oh.
the playful vibe, the ability to create a fun, engaging connection.
Right.
And it plays into something really fundamental about attraction.
Yeah.
We're drawn to people who make us feel good.
Who doesn't love a good laugh?
Exactly.
So let's say she's laughing, things are going well.
Okay.
But the Tao of Badass doesn't stop there.
Oh.
It introduces this takeaway technique that seems so counterintuitive.
Interesting.
You actually turn your back on her while she's laughing. Glance over your shoulder, then turn back and offer your hand.
Wow.
So what's the psychology behind that?
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it creates this sense of intrigue and scarcity.
Okay.
You're not overly available.
Right.
You have other options.
Uh-huh.
It subtly shifts the power dynamic.
Interesting.
In a way, it makes her chase you, even if just a little.
It's like playing hard to get, but in a playful way.
Exact.
The flowchart even says it shows her you're used to flirting with attractive women and you have a lot of options. But then it gets even more physical,
Oh.
suggesting a twirling technique.
Okay.
Literally twirling her around when she takes your hand.
Really?
As compared to catnip for attracting women.
Interesting.
So do you think that still works today?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While the concept of playful physicality, I think, is still relevant,
Oh.
I think the twirling specifically might come across as a bit outdated or even disrespectful in today's dating landscape.
Right.
It's important to be aware of social cues and personal boundaries.
Of course.
What might have worked a decade ago might not be appropriate today.
It's all about context.
Yeah.
The flowchart does emphasize reading the situation, engaging her comfort level,
Right.
but it also stresses that most guys fail at this stage by giving up too soon.
Hmm.
So even if you're not getting an immediate yes,
Right.
continuing to engage in a respectful way can actually set you apart.
Absolutely. Persistence and resilience can be attractive qualities.
I see.
They demonstrate genuine interest and confidence, which are universally appealing.
So you've navigated this initial spark,
Okay.
the playful banter, maybe even a twirl or two if the vibe is right. But the Tao of Badass suggests this is just the first hurdle.
Mm.
The next step is something called qualifying.
Okay.
which sounds a bit like a job interview for love.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
This is where, according to the flowchart, if a woman is interested, she'll start bragging about something.
Right.
Totally random, completely off topic.
Oh.
It's her way of showcasing her value and trying to impress you, even if it seems counterintuitive.
So she might start talking about her IQ, her travels,
Yeah.
her amazing cooking skills.
Exactly.
Interesting.
The flowchart points out that it can be a turnoff to hear a woman bragging.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's actually a sign she's very attracted and trying to win your approval.
It's like that underlying psychology.
Yeah.
It's almost endearing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
This vulnerability of wanting to be seen as worthy.
Right.
And the flowchart's advice is to verbally accept her qualifications,
Okay.
even if you're not blown away.
So just validate.
It's about validation, making her feel seen.
That makes sense.
It shows you're not intimidated by her accomplishments, you're confident in yourself.
Yeah.
And then it gets even deeper.
Deeper.
The flowchart outlines a series of questions
Okay.
designed to reveal her dominant qualities,
All right.
sexual, emotional, or logical.
Interesting.
It's like a personality assessment within a seduction guide.
And each answer type, according to the flowchart, gives you insights into how she approaches relationships.
Okay.
For example, if all her answers are emotional,
Okay.
she might be more guarded and need to feel desired before opening up. If they're all sexual, she might be more playful and teasing.
Yeah, I see.
And if they're all logical,
Yeah.
you might need to build more attraction before moving forward.
It's like a mini lesson in understanding the nuances of attraction.
Right.
And how different people approach intimacy.
Yeah.
And the flowchart is very clear.
Okay.
You have to verbally accept her qualifications no matter what she says.
Wow.
Even if it's something ridiculous like,
Like what?
I kick puppies, I'm Charlie Sheen's girlfriend, and I always cheered for Apollo Creed.
Oh my gosh.
It's a humorous way of emphasizing the importance of validation.
Right.
But of course, in real life, you want to be mindful of the situation and your own boundaries.
Of course, always.
Absolutely. So with that final acceptance, the stage of attraction, at least according to the Tao of Badass, concludes, but it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
Well, that's where we move into the crucial stage of building rapport.
Right.
And that, my friend, is a whole other chapter in the flowchart of attraction.
Okay, bring on the next flowchart.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've sparked that initial attraction,
Mm-hmm.
mastered the playful banter,
Yeah.
maybe even braved a twirl or two.
Maybe.
But the Tao of Badass is pretty clear that this is just the first act.
Exactly. Now we move from that initial spark to building something deeper.
Okay.
Genuine rapport. And the flowchart actually warns against skipping this stage.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It even says that without rapport, you risk ending up in failed relationships.
Oh.
Or worse, being perceived as well, creepy.
Oh, high stakes.
So no pressure.
But seriously, this rapport flowchart is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
It outlines 4 phases:
Right.
light, wide, deep, and release. And it emphasizes that you'll cycle through these phases multiple times throughout the interaction.
So it's not a linear progression.
No.
More like a dance.
Exactly. It's about building layers of connection,
Right.
constantly deepening that sense of understanding.
Right.
And to help with this, the flowchart introduces this specific technique called the deep rapport formula. It sounds a bit technical,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty intuitive when you break it down.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's unpack this formula.
All right.
What's the first ingredient?
It starts with asking an open-ended question, something that encourages her to share more than just a yes or no answer.
So something like, what's your favorite way to de-stress after a long day?
Exactly.
As opposed to, do you like to read?
Right, you're inviting her to open up, reveal a little something about herself. And the second step is just as crucial.
Okay.
Acknowledging her response.
Right.
You're showing you're truly listening and that what she has to say matters.
It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You're demonstrating that you care about her thoughts and experiences.
Exactly.
Okay, so far so good. What's the next step in this rapport recipe?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
The flowchart instructs you to relate her response to a childhood experience of your own.
Whoa, that's unexpected.
Yeah.
Why bring childhood into it?
It might seem that way at first, but think about it.
Okay.
By sharing a personal anecdote that connects to her story,
Right.
you're creating a deeper level of resonance. You're showing vulnerability, a glimpse into your own past. And that can be incredibly powerful in building trust and connection.
It's like you're saying, hey, I get you. I've been there too in my own way.
Exactly.
That vulnerability makes you more relatable, more human.
Precisely. It breaks down those walls we often put up in social situations and allows for a more genuine exchange.
So step 4 of the formula is to tie that childhood experience back to the present moment.
Yes, you're creating a bridge between the past and the present, showing how that experience has shaped who you are today.
So you're bringing the conversation full circle, linking your past to your present and connecting it to her experience.
Exactly. And finally, step 5, and this is key, you drop it.
You drop it.
You start again with a new topic and cycle through the phases of rapport once more.
So it's not about dwelling on one topic for too long.
No.
It's about building these layers of connection.
Yes.
Constantly moving the conversation forward.
Yes.
While deepening that sense of rapport.
Right. It keeps things dynamic and interesting. You're showing that you're not just fixated on one aspect of her personality or experience. You're curious about her as a whole person.
Do you have an example of how this deep rapport formula could play out?
Sure.
In a real conversation. I'm having trouble picturing it.
Imagine you ask her, what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done? And she tells you about this time she impulsively booked a flight to Italy by herself. You could acknowledge her adventurous spirit and then share a childhood memory of how you used to run away to the woods behind your house, pretending it was a magical forest. You could then tie it back to the present by mentioning how you still love exploring new places and how that sense of adventure is important to you.
I see.
And then you could transition to a new topic. Perhaps asking about her favorite travel destination or what she loved most about Italy.
I see it now. It's about weaving these personal anecdotes into the conversation
Exactly.
in a way that feels natural and authentic, not forced or rehearsed.
Exactly. And the flowchart emphasizes that you should aim to cycle through these phases at least 3 times before moving on to, well, seduction.
Right. But it is fascinating how the flowchart explicitly links rapport building to seduction.
It does.
It suggests that genuine connection is essential for building a deeper level of intimacy.
Absolutely. It's saying that seduction without rapport is just manipulation.
And who wants that?
Right. Real intimacy comes from a place of mutual understanding and respect. It's about creating a space where both people feel safe and comfortable being vulnerable with each other.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From playful banter to deep rapport, the Tao of Badass, while certainly unconventional, offers some interesting insights into the psychology of attraction.
It does.
So what stands out to you the most about this approach?
I think what's most compelling is the emphasis on authenticity and genuine connection. It's not about tricks or games. It's about being present, engaging with the other person on a human level, and building a foundation of trust and mutual respect.
And while some of the specific techniques might seem a little outdated, the underlying principles are timeless.
They are?
Being playful, showing vulnerability, being a good listener. These are qualities that are always attractive.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that attraction isn't just about physical appearance or mastering a set of techniques. It's about creating a spark, a connection that goes beyond the superficial.
So as we delve deeper into the Tao of Badass, I'm curious to see how these principles of attraction and rapport play out in the later stages of seduction and relationship building. What do you think? Are you ready to explore the next flowchart?
I think I am.
You know, before we jump into that next flowchart, I kind of want to take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
For sure.
It's been so fascinating to unpack these unconventional techniques.
It has.
And to see how they tie into, you know, these deeper psychological principles of attraction.
It really has. And while the Tao of Badass might present its advice in this unique way, it's ultimately tapping into something fundamental about human connection. We're drawn to people who make us feel good, who see us, who make us laugh.
It's not just about mastering a set of lines or moves. It's about cultivating those qualities within ourselves. The playfulness. The vulnerability, that genuine curiosity.
I think that's a really important takeaway. It's empowering in a way. It's saying that attraction isn't something that just happens to us. We can actually cultivate it by working on ourselves, by being more present and engaged in our interactions.
I love how the Tao of Badass emphasizes that building rapport is essential
Yeah.
for creating a deeper level of intimacy.
Absolutely.
It's not about seduction tactics or playing games.
No.
It's about genuine connection.
It's about creating a space where both people feel safe and comfortable being themselves.
Right.
And I think that's such a powerful message, especially in today's dating landscape,
Yeah.
where it's so easy to get caught up in superficiality.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to ask you a question.
All right.
Have you ever encountered these dynamics in your own life?
Mm.
Have you noticed that qualifying behavior or the power of vulnerability
Yeah.
in building attraction? I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear your thoughts.
You know, it's funny you should ask that.
Yeah.
I think we've all experienced these dynamics in some form or another, even if we haven't been consciously aware of them.
Right.
I've definitely noticed that when I'm more open and vulnerable in my interactions,
Yeah.
it tends to create a stronger connection.
For sure.
And I think that's something that the Tao of Badass highlights really well.
And I think it's a challenge for all of us, right?
It is.
To be willing to put ourselves out there, to risk rejection, to embrace the unknown.
There's that quote by Brené Brown
Oh, yeah.
that says, vulnerability is not winning or losing.
Okay.
It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome.
That's such a powerful quote.
It really is.
We can't control how someone else will respond to us,
Nope.
but we can control our own willingness to be open and authentic.
We can.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the most attractive thing of all.
So as we end this deep dive into the Tao of Badass,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought. What are you willing to risk to create those deeper connections in your life? What steps can you take to cultivate those qualities within yourself
Yeah.
that foster genuine attraction and intimacy?
Because at the end of the day, the most badass thing you can do is be your true self. Embrace vulnerability and connect with others from a place of authenticity.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Right.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting,
Yeah.
and keep diving deep into this fascinating world of human behavior.